All right there, hey everyone. Double check. Double check things here. All righty. Hey, hope everyone's doing well. Yeah, so we've got something exciting for today. Very exciting, which is we're going to be doing some stuff with the clap plugin format. And we're going to be talking about what's called preset discovery, which is a clap feature that's still like a draft feature, so it's still kind of being worked on, but it's very exciting. And yeah, I'm really excited to see this out in the wild because I think it'll be really cool. So yeah, this is the clap repository. And what we're going to be doing here is implementing this preset discovery factory. And yeah, it's kind of a lot of stuff here, so it might take a minute to get through it all, but yeah, I think it'll be pretty cool. Let me adjust some things here. Let's see, this is me. And yeah, so let's see a little bit what this looks like. And actually, it might be useful to compare against Ableton Live. So yeah, so we can see a little bit of like what could we do with preset discovery and that kind of a feature before clap. So I know AUV3 has some preset interaction features. I was experimenting with them a little bit the other day on the iPad, but I don't know if I have any DAWs that will run AUV3 plugins at the moment, so may or may not be so helpful. Let's see if I can find a plugin that has presets that Ableton will let me mess around with here. Actually, maybe I could do one of my own plugins. Yeah, so in VST2, and probably some hosts will let you do this in VST3, you have kind of this presets interface here. I'm not 100% sure exactly what the intended use case is for that box there. Maybe the Ableton help window will tell me select VST2 preset. Yeah, so I guess you're supposed to kind of fill in a preset bank, and then you can set your preset based on that, and that works. But there's kind of a few things here that I'm not particularly happy about. And I'm sure other folks have similar ideas, which is that, first of all, you've kind of got this list. So if you have a lot of presets, it could be pretty hairy to work through that entire list. I wonder if Surge does presets in that way. Surge XT. Okay, they don't. That's okay. Yeah, so you've kind of got this flat list of presets, and so you don't have much organization, you don't have much control. And the other thing that is a little bit annoying is that you have to load the plugin before you see the presets. So if I look kind of as a counterexample, if I look at Ableton's built-in devices, or maybe the effects are better examples, so I could go to the compressor, and I've got all these compressor presets here, and I can see them even before I load the compressor device. So that's kind of I feel like a reasonably standard thing that a lot of DAWs have nowadays, where you can kind of see your presets before you actually load the thing that you're loading a preset for. But plugins up to now, at least to my understanding, don't really have this ability. Maybe AUV3 does. That's kind of the thing where I know there's some features there. I don't know exactly what features AUV3 does and doesn't support. But this is kind of what Clap's preset discovery is meant to solve. So the idea is, even before you actually load the plugin, you should be able to see your presets. You should be able to have them organized in various ways. And then you should be able to load a plugin with a preset if you would like to. I wonder if Ableton has extra categories. Well, they kind of do. Like here you've got like bass, drum, guitar, but they're kind of just in the name. They're not really in subfolders or anything like that. Interesting. Yeah, and then let's see Bitwig's interface, which I don't know if I have any existing plugins that implement this. So this is going to be the first one, I guess. But yeah, so with Bitwig, I guess I thought that I could kind of look through here. No, maybe I have to do it this way. Okay, sure, we'll look at blur. And then I guess there's no presets for blur. I don't know. Bitwig presets. Interesting. It's kind of seems to be kind of limiting what I can do here. Maybe it's because I'm on an instrument track. Hey George, how's it going? Yeah, so if I'm on an audio track, I would think that I could see presets here. No, I don't know. Maybe these devices don't have presets. Okay, well we've got a few kind of interesting Bitwig presets. I thought there would be more than this, but maybe not. Yeah, so the idea here is that for our plugin, we'll have these plugin presets, and then people can load the plugin with that preset. They can search for presets by these different tags here. So Bitwig supports these tagged searches basically for presets and things like that. So yeah, it'll be kind of a cool thing to have. And we'll also get to see a bit of the nuts and bolts of how Clap works, which will be very exciting. Yeah, and so I went through some of this process with one of my other plugins a couple days ago, so I know a little bit of what to expect. And I know a couple spots where Bitwig doesn't have some things fully implemented, so I'm not really expecting them to work just yet. But yeah, this is going to be very exciting. So we're going to be doing preset discovery, and we're going to be doing this for the BYOD plugin here. So if we start at the top of kind of this preset discovery header file here, the first thing we need to do is work out this Clap plugin entry get factory. And so in BYOD, we already have a Clap plugin entry. We just need to find it. So this is some code that Bacon Paul wrote a little while ago for the Clap wrapper. And let's see here, way at the bottom, we've got our Clap plugin entry. And so what's going to happen is we're going to have this Clap get factory business here. And then what we're going to want is to allow Clap supports custom factory, and this will tweak the Clap juice wrapper to allow us to implement custom factories, which is exciting. And that's going to give us a whole bunch of functionality potentially down the road. For now, it'll just allow us to do these preset discovery stuff. And so we're going to put that in the arguments for when we initialize the Clap plugin, which is over here. So we'll set that to true. And then, yeah, I was kind of wondering too if there's a way to use like on or off instead of 0 or 1 here, but I don't know, I hadn't figured out a way to do that. So for right now, I'm just going to do 1, even though I don't love it. Cool. And so now we can see that basically the Clap wrapper is going to ask us for this Clap juice extension custom factory method. And so we can implement this. Maybe here in our top level kind of top level CVP file. So I'm going to wrap everything in this if-def. Basically, this is the function that we're going to want to override, and it should return a void pointer, maybe a const void pointer, and it should take in a const char pointer. Cool. And so now, basically what we want to do is the same kind of thing that the plugin factory is doing. Just now, we want to do that same kind of thing for the presets factory. So let's just copy this logic so we can reuse it here. And instead of clap plugin factory ID, we're going to want clap preset discovery factory ID. Oh, what did I do? So now I have to define a plugin, or sorry, a preset discovery factory that we can return. So yeah, let's find that here. We've got our preset discovery factory. And basically we need a function that returns the number of preset providers, a function that returns a descriptor for a given provider based on its index. And then we need a function that actually creates the preset providers. So yeah, between those three things, we should be able to get this working here. And yeah, let's see what we get. So let's see. Make a static const discovery factory. So we'll call this BYOD preset discovery factory. And now we just need to fill out the fields. So the first field would be count. And right now, I'll just make this a null pointer. So this is going to be a function pointer. But for now, we'll just make it null pointer. And then create. Yeah. And so let's double check that this actually works, so that when the host asks us for this factory, we actually hit this bit of code here. So the way I'm going to test this is either using the clap validator or using Bitwig as a command line thing. And I'll kind of show you guys both examples of this. So yeah, let's do Bitwig first. How about? So let's see. What we're going to do here is we're going to pick an executable to debug with. Bitwig. And so we want this x64 plugin host. That's the one we want. Bitwig plugin host x64. Yeah, that's it. And we're going to call it with preset discovery list. And then we'll do the path to our plugin. So and then we'll make sure that we're running this in kind of the root directory for the repository, because that's where we'll be able to find everything that we need as far as the path to the plugin and everything. So yeah, this is kind of a cool thing that Bitwig lets you do, actually. You can kind of see it here. I was messing around with it in the command line. But basically, if I run the plugin host application, I have a bunch of these kind of interesting actions that I can do with a plugin, which is, yeah, kind of a neat thing that I'm not sure I know of any other DAWs that let you do that kind of thing. So that's pretty exciting. But yeah, so first we're going to rebuild BYOD, and then we should be able to actually run this code and make sure that we are being asked for the preset discovery factory. Well, looks like it's running, and there we go. Cool. So we got a call to clap get factory, which is part of the clap spec, and then the juice clap wrapper forwarded us to extension custom factory. And then here in our implementation of extension custom factory, we're going to return our factory. And it's probably going to crash because I put null pointers as these function pointers, which Bitwig was not expecting, because, yeah, I think the clap spec kind of asserts that these should not be null pointers. So yeah, I did that wrong, but it was a useful test. Now let's try something else. So let's try doing a clap validator configuration. And for this one, we're going to run everything in clap validator. C-Line got mad at how large the Bitwig executable name is. Come on. Man, it's really not going to let me make this any smaller, is it? Wow, okay. So for clap validator, we want to validate in process, and we want to only run one test. And what test is that going to be? Let's see, clap validator list tests. We want to run preset discovery crawl. How about preset discovery crawl? Cool. So now if we run this in the debugger, it should work pretty much the same. I'm imagining, since it's meant as a validator, maybe it'll give us a slightly, maybe it'll give us an error message. Yeah, here we go. Okay, panicked at count is a null pointer, but this is not allowed. Yeah, so right now we're doing some stuff that's not allowed, but that's okay, because we just wanted to make sure that we can run this and that our test will work in some way. Yeah, so I've already got a presets folder here, so I'm going to go ahead and make some files for preset discovery. So let's see. Yeah, let's just make a header file. We'll call this preset discovery. And what do we want to do in here? Probably don't need a whole lot in here. Maybe put this in a namespace. Yeah, and so now we can just basically take these function signatures and copy them in so that we can implement them directly. And we're going to want to get rid of the things that make it a function pointer. We also don't really care about clap ABI right now. And there we go. All right, so these are kind of the public-facing functions that we're going to need to implement. So let's make a CPP file for them. I'm probably going to want to have an if guard around this, similar to what we had before. So the idea here is that if we're building the plugin without the clap extensions, we don't want to include this code because it probably isn't going to work. What's wrong here? Unterminated directive? Oh, okay. That's not true. It is terminated. Cool. So for now, we'll put some kind of dummy implementations here. So we'll return 1. We'll return null pointer, and we'll return also null pointer. And then we want to make sure that this CPP file is getting compiled. So we'll put that in here as part of our CMake configuration. Cool. All right, so let's reload CMake, and then we can just update these to point to, well, the things that we want them to point to. So I'll do pound include preset discovery. And so this should be preset discovery count, preset discovery get descriptor, and preset discovery create. Cool. So that should build. So the way that this is kind of set up is that basically the host is going to ask the plugin for a preset discovery factory. The preset discovery factory will create these what's called preset discovery providers. And that's what the plugin can use to actually tell the host about what presets it has available. So let's see what happens if we do this. Again, it probably won't work because we have all these null pointers in places where we shouldn't. Preset discovery factory return a null pointer. So it failed. Okay, yeah, that's kind of what we expect. So now we need to actually implement a preset discovery provider and a preset discovery provider descriptor. And so the way I think I'm going to do this is with a class, which we're going to call user presets provider, right? Yeah, let's do that. So I'm going to start with user presets because that's, at least for the way that I do user presets versus factory presets, user presets are better supported by Bitwig at the moment, or the way that I'm doing user presets is a bit better supported by Bitwig at the moment. So yeah, that's where I'm going to start. And you know what, I'll make this a struct instead of a class, just so I don't have to write private and public. Maybe that'll make things a little bit neater. And so now I'm going to need to actually bring in the clap helpers that I need. So I know from last time that I'm going to need to do this. Yeah, so there's a couple of things that the juice warning flags don't like that happen in these clap headers. So I need to kind of get around them here. So let's see, clap helpers, and we want the preset discovery provider. Then I'm also going to need to include this hxx file, which is like basically like a CPP file, so that gets compiled in as well. And so this I want to be a clap helpers preset discovery provider, but there's all these extra kind of template arguments. So I want to see what happens. So first I need to implement or declare a misbehavior handler type. And this is basically telling the host or telling the plugin, what do you do if there's some misbehavior either by the host or the plugin? And right now I'm going to terminate. And I also want to know the checking level to see kind of how strict are we going to be about misbehavior. And I'm going to say maximal. But actually, I'm only going to do this for juice debug. And otherwise, we'll use some other settings. So maybe we'll do ignore. Let's take a look at this part of the if statement just to make sure that I'm getting this right. So we'll do minimal checking and we'll ignore misbehavior if we're in a release build. So yeah, so we're going to do maximal checking for now because that'll help us catch bugs. But in a release build, maybe we don't care so much. So we'll let things slide a little more easily. So the first thing I need to do is get a descriptor for this provider. So let's find. Here's the definition of a provider, but we can use the helper class to simplify that a good bit for us. But we're going to need a descriptor. So I'm going to make this a const expr descriptor. Yeah. All right, what's it not happy about? Default initialization. Okay, that's because we're not actually initializing it. So the first thing we need here is a clap version. And this is kind of defined for us already. Clap version. Right. Yeah, this is a constant. Cool. Next, we're going to need an ID. So we're going to call this org ChowDSP BYOD user presets. And this is kind of an extension on the plugin clap ID, which is that. So we're just going to add user presets to the end of it. What should we name it? We'll say this is the BYOD user presets provider. And then vendor. I don't know that I need a vendor, but I'll just say user for now, just because that's kind of how I do it inside the plugin and I kind of want to be consistent with that. Yeah, so let's start with that. So when I'm looking at the index, or when I'm asked for the descriptor here, I'm going to say if the index is 0, then return user presets provider descriptor, and it needs to be a pointer, so I'll do the address of. And then now we need to implement the constructor. So for that, let's take a look at the constructor of the class that we're overriding. So it should be something like this for the constructor. So we've got our user presets provider, and this is going to be derived from the presets preset discovery provider. Well, I guess it needs to be clap helpers preset discovery provider. Yeah, with the description and index. Cool. Something's not happy here. What's wrong? Member initializer does not name a non-static data member or base class. It should be a base class, right? Do I need the template arguments? Preset discovery provider. What if I get rid of these? Okay, that makes it happy for some reason. I don't mind that at all. All right, so here, when I actually have to create the preset discovery provider, basically what I'm going to want to do is do a string comparison on the provider ID. So we'll say if string compare provider ID and what was it? User presets provider descriptor dot ID. If that is 0, then return new user preset provider. Oh no. So we'll say auto provider equals new user presets provider with the descriptor from here. Actually, you know what? I can simplify this a little bit. Instead of having the descriptor declared twice, I can just use the descriptor that I already have right there. Cool. And now this is going to look very weird because we're calling new, and then we're going to return the provider from this provider. And this is kind of a clap thing that you need to get used to a little bit if you're going to be working with clap at this level. But basically what happens in here is that the preset discovery provider implements the clap preset discovery provider, which is a C struct, right? So this is kind of interoperating between C++ and C. So the provider, the clap provider, is like a member of the preset discovery provider, which is basically preset discovery provider is C++. Clap preset discovery provider is C. And so we need to, here we need to return the C struct. And so we're getting that from this member variable here, and then through this interface function up here, where we return the provider. So yeah, that's kind of a strange thing, but it makes sense if you dig through it a little bit. And then the reason that this is not a memory leak is because the preset discovery provider will take care of deleting itself for us. So basically, what's going to happen in here is at some point there's going to be this destroy call. So provider destroy. And so this is when the host says, hey, we don't need this preset provider anymore. Go ahead and destroy it. And so we'll set this as being destroyed to true, and then we delete ourselves, which is kind of a weird way to think about it, but this is how we avoid memory leaks. And from the plugin side, it's kind of nice because you can just write very simple code, return things, and expect that the wrapper will take care of deleting things for you when the host asks for it. So that's kind of nice. So let's try running that, see what happens. All right, there we go. Yeah, so we've gone through here, and it seems like things worked, except that it did not find any presets, which makes sense because we haven't declared any presets. So yeah, we can kind of work with things in that way. But it's good to know that at the very least, kind of the fundamental idea of what we're doing is being recognized by the cloud validator. Let's try doing this in the bitwig command line thing. And let's see what we get from there. Cool. So it found our preset provider, right? So this is the preset provider that we defined right here. So we've got our provider with our name, with our ID, with our vendor, and with our clap version. So yeah, that's good to know that it found our preset provider. I'll go back to clap validator for now, just because I think it's a little bit easier to work with as something that's more meant to catch mistakes than to, be used in production. So yeah, some of the mistake catching mechanisms are very helpful with the clap validator. So the next thing we need to do here is override some methods. So these are the 3 methods that are kind of candidates for being overridden. I'm not going to deal with the extension stuff right now. I don't actually know how that works yet. As far as having extensions for preset discovery and preset loading, maybe there's some stuff there that's useful, but I haven't really read up on it yet. So these are the 2 methods that we're going to override for now. So yeah, let's read the documentation to see what we're actually supposed to do in these functions. So we have init, destroy, get metadata, and get extension. Get extension, I'm not going to worry about. Destroy is taken care of for us by the C++ wrapper, the clap helpers. So init, initialize the preset provider. It should declare all its locations, file types, and sound packs. Returns false if initialization failed. I don't think initialization should fail, but I guess it's possible. So let's see, we're going to declare file types, locations, and sound packs. So first off, we want a file type. Let's see here. So yeah, I think we can do this as a const expert struct the same way we did the descriptor. Let's put that in here. So this can be static const expert, right? And so the way that I do my file types is they have this extension .chow preset. So if I look at the presets that are part of the plugin here, I've got American Sound .chow preset. So that's going to be the file extension. But I guess dot isn't included in the string, so I don't need that. I can just do the file extension like so, and then we need a name and a description. Description is optional. Name, I guess, is not optional. So we'll call this the user preset file type, and the description will be user preset file type for BYOD. Yeah, I use the same file extension for all ChowDSP plugins, but I'll just leave it like this for now. Since the presets that are discovered by this hopefully we should only be able to load them within BYOD, I think. So now what we have to do is register the file type. So declare file type with the indexer and the file type. And let's see if, well, which test interface would give us more useful information about the file type. maybe Cloud Validator, maybe Bitwig. Let's take care of some of these warnings too while we're digging around here. Let's see. Okay. So, okay, nothing doing there. Maybe Bitwig will have something interesting. Yeah, there we go. So Bitwig recognizes the file type that we gave it. So that's cool. So next up, we're going to want to initialize, or next up, we're going to want to declare a location for our presets. So this is the location, the format for a location that we want to declare. For this one, I don't think it should be in a yeah, I don't think it should be in a const expr struct. I think this should just be in a member struct. So what we'll do is we'll call this the user presets location. And yeah, so what we'll do is we'll do user presets location dot name, kind, flags, and location. So flags, what are the flags here? Flags are, is factory content, is user content, is demo content, or is favorite. We don't really have demo content or favorites in this plugin right now. So the only flag we care about will be is user content. And then kind, so this is the preset discovery location kind. And we're going to say that this is going to be a file, because that's how our user presets are stored. They're stored in files on the user's device. So now for the harder two, the more difficult of the two. Name and location. So for name, let's just do something generic. User presets location. And then user presets location is going to be probably the most important one. So the idea here, the location can either be a path, to a directory or a file. So we're going to give the plugin the path to the directory where the user presets are stored, and that's something that we manage somewhere up here. So preset manager, we have our preset manager. Yeah, so we have this user preset path, and this points to a file, and we use that file to store the path to the folder where the user presets are actually live. So let's see here, user preset path, set user preset config file, get preset file, get user preset path. Okay. So yeah, the location should basically be this get user preset path. The problem is I don't want to have to create a bunch of stuff to get there. So right now, in order for me to create the preset manager, I need all these things, and I don't really want to need all these things. just to be able to try out, or just to be able to scan the presets, right? I just want to get that path directly. So let's see what happens in here. We have get user preset config file. Let's see, this should be static, right? Oh, I guess not. Okay. So, I think I'm going to do this by making some edits here to make basically some static versions of these methods. Okay, Mike's saying, are these presets that show up in the dropdown in Reaper, for instance? I'm not 100% sure how Reaper would implement it. I don't use Reaper enough to know, but the idea in Bitwig is that basically if you have, let's try it with an instrument device. So if you have your plugin, basically you could come here and you could find a preset for your plugin. So this drum machine device has all of these presets for the drum machine. And so, yeah, hopefully I can get this working pretty soon so you can see it working for the plugin as well. But yeah, the idea here is that the Bitwig device list would show you all these presets. So yeah, that's kind of the idea there. Actually, let's see what happens. Let's see what happens if we try to do this currently. I think it's going to fail, but we'll find out. Yeah, so if I go to the place where the presets would live and I go here, show BYOD presets, yeah, there's none, which is correct because I haven't implemented this stuff yet. But yeah, something that's kind of cool and relates to what I was saying a second ago. All of this stuff is happening with the audio engine turned off. So we haven't created an instance of the plugin or anything, and we'll be able to browse the presets, which is kind of neat. Yeah, exactly. So like saying, I love how in Bitwig you click the folder and it goes straight to the correct presets for whatever device you have pulled up. Yeah, so that's kind of a neat thing that Bitwig can do, and it's pretty neat that with all of this clap functionality, we kind of get that stuff for all plugins, not just for the native Bitwig devices. That's something I find really exciting about the clap plugin format, is that it gives both DAWs and plugins a lot more functionality than you might have otherwise. So, okay, let's see here. Get user preset config file. Where does that live? Here we go. So we're going to make a static version of this. Oh, and this is going to be static, so it can't also be const. There we go. And so basically we can just copy that functionality, but change it so that we're not using a member variable, which means we can use this method statically. And then to reduce duplication, we can just call into the static one from here with the same config path. Neat. And then for get user preset path, we want to be able to do the same thing, don't we? Load file as string, return. Oh, I see. Okay, I see what it's doing. Get user preset path. And we can just do the same kind of thing here. this static and not const. Let's see. So yeah, same kind of thing here. Just going to move the logic into the static version. And whoops. Yeah, we'll do this so that we're not copying logic. Return get user preset path, user preset config path. There we go. All right. Hey, Ethan, hope you're doing well. Yeah, so basically the idea here is that we want to be able to get the user, we want to be able to get the folder where the user presets are stored without having to create an instance of the plugin. So we want to be able to do all this stuff before the plugin has even been instantiated. And I think this should allow us to do that stuff. However, we are going to need to make this publicly available in some way. So I think I'm going to move it into here. Actually, you know what? Let's do this. Let's make this const expr, which means that it also needs to be a string view. Yeah, because I don't want to make this const, because const is a little weird in C++. It's not as strict as you would probably want it to be. And so that's probably going to give us issues. So we want to do to string, which will create a juice string from our string view. Probably some something to do in the iOS version of the code as well. All right. Let's make sure those are the only uses. Cool. So now what I can do in the preset discovery is include the preset manager header. And when I'm setting the location here, I can say this is, well, now I have to be careful with lifetimes. Let's do this. Let's do user presets folder. Right. And so here I'll do user presets folder equals, this will be ChowDSP preset manager, get user preset path. And now we can just use the config file path that we made public just a second ago, user preset path. So now, be careful about lifetimes with all this stuff, but get full path name to UTF-8. So I believe that user presets folder owns the string, which owns this text. I don't think it's a temporary. And so then when we get a pointer to that string or to the data in that string, I think the lifetimes should work out okay. Maybe I also want to add a check here. So it's like if not user presets folder dot exists as file, and return false. So if the presets folder doesn't exist, we don't do anything else. Anyway, now we want to actually declare the location. User presets location. So yeah, let's give this a try and see if Bitwig picks up on the location. Why is it? Oh, it's rebuilding everything because I changed some headers in the submodule there. All right. That's annoying. Hopefully this doesn't take too long. Yeah, this might take a minute. I wonder if I should add some print statements or something here as well. Well, let's see what Bitwig spits out at us once this is going. Or maybe we should even just start thinking about the implementation of get metadata. Yeah, let's do that. So we'll say if the location kind is not equal to, we want this to be the file location kind, then we want to return false. Otherwise, hopefully we can return true. What else do we want to check? I guess the location shouldn't be null pointer. Yeah, so then my understanding of this, is that the location that we provide to the host is either a path to a directory or a file. But when get metadata is called, the location here is a file, so it shouldn't be the directory, it should be the file itself. That's kind of interesting. I guess we'll find out in a minute, won't we? So what did I do wrong? Of course. Typos everywhere. Yeah, I guess let's just wait for it to compile so I don't cause another error with my half-finished code here. Cool. All right. Yeah. So let's give this a run and see what happens. Oh. Okay. Interesting. Something went wrong apparently. Let's set some breakpoints and find out. Cool. So user presets folder is pointing us to this folder here. Oh, I know what the problem is. Okay, we're checking if the folder exists as file, but that's not actually what we want. We want if that is a directory. All right, let's try that. there we go. Yeah. So we've got our name, we've got our location, and we've got our flags, which don't have a meaningful name at the moment, but that's fine. Cool. All right. So now we can actually go through and start filling in the metadata for our presets here. So actually, you know what? Maybe the first thing we should do is just print out what we see from here. So getting metadata for preset and location. Yeah, let's try that. Interesting. So I guess this isn't getting called, is it? Let's make sure we actually have some presets saved. I may not. I may only have factory presets at the moment. Documents, presets. Okay, yeah, we've got some presets that should exist. But seems like they're not getting called, or seems like they're not getting scanned. Let's find out here. Okay, that's strange. I wonder if maybe it only scans the top level directory, right? Because right now I've got this extra user folder underneath there. So what if I do this, get user preset path, get child file, get child file user. Yeah, so maybe Bitwig is only scanning one level, and maybe I want to scan multiple levels. And if I want to scan multiple levels, then I have to tell Bitwig that myself. That seems reasonable. Although I wonder, let's try Cloud Validator too, because they might do different things. So user presets location, that was with user at the end there. And yeah, there are some presets that are in that folder directly. Did I do something wrong with the file type? Maybe I spelled it wrong. No, that looks correct. All right, so what could it be? Huh. Preset location, user preset location. Maybe it's because I'm doing preset discovery list and I should be doing preset discovery scan. Oops. Let's try that. Yeah, so I didn't see anything in the documentation about this, but my guess is that preset discovery list only lists the providers, and scan will actually go through and try to scan the presets. Okay, yeah, that seems correct. Oh, and it's even digging through the subfolders. Sweet. All right. Yeah, there we go. So that's all the presets we've got there, looks like. So yeah, we don't need to do this get child file thing. That should work just fine without it. Cool. So now we actually want to fill in the metadata for this preset. So let's see what that expects us to do. metadata receiver, here we go. So what we're expected to do here is, okay, so we have an error thing we can do. So if there's an error reading the preset metadata, we can call this. I don't really feel like doing that at the moment. Yeah, like I don't know, maybe there's a way to work that out. Begin preset. If the function returns false, then the preset provider must stop calling back into the receiver. So for every preset, we want to try this begin preset method. And then, if it doesn't work out, it doesn't work out. That's okay. And then, okay, plugin ID. That's something we'll need to do. Sound pack ID, I don't think we care about that because we don't have sound packs. Flags, if unset, they are inherited from the location. I think that's fine to inherit from the location. Add creator, okay, that we can do. Set description. I don't think we have preset descriptions at the moment, but yeah, I don't know what the right way to do that is. And then set timestamp. Okay, yeah, then, well, if this function is not called, then the indexer may look at the file's creation modification time. That's probably what we want it to do anyway. So I don't know, maybe, well, it's probably best to fill it in just to be safe. Okay, and then add feature. We could do that. We have preset categories. Add extra info. Probably don't care about extra info for now. So yeah, let's go ahead and implement as much of this as we can. So first we need a plugin ID. And let's see what this looks like. So plugin ID. All right, so the ABI, I guess, should just be clap. I don't really know. Yeah, I don't really know when there would be a different thing there, but ID, oh, the plugin ID. Okay, let's see, where do we get that from? Right, because we have that somewhere in the clapjuice extensions, right? Descriptor, no descriptor. Here we go. Clap ID. I think it's the clap ID. We'll find out in a second if I'm wrong. Well, actually, we can just look here, right? Clap version ID. Yeah, okay, that should be it. Something is not happy about that, is it? Clap ID, create new global variable clap ID. Huh. Let's see if we can find where this is defined. Okay, clap ID is there. So that's where we define the clap ID. Target compile definitions. Oh, it's a private compile definition. All right, maybe I'll ask Paul if we can change that. But for now, I'll just do let's do it like this. Yeah, and I'll put a to do there for myself. Yeah, maybe I'll just make a pull request for that. I'll ask Paul. Okay, so now I think we can go ahead and implement this. So first, let's create a juice file from the location. So we'll do user preset file equals juice file location. And then let's check if it exists. So if it doesn't exist, we return false. Now we actually go ahead and create the preset. So ChowDSP preset, user preset file. If preset is not valid, then false. So the idea here is that if the preset maybe is a preset from a different plugin, or if the file's empty or something like that, then we want to return, we want to say the preset is not valid and return false. So yeah, now let's do this. Again, reset metadata receiver, and let's review what the arguments are supposed to be. Descriptor, indexer, it's above this, isn't it? Here we go, begin preset. So we've got receiver, name, and load key. I don't think I need to do anything with the load key at the moment. But we can do user preset file get full path name and do that basically. And then should I return false if begin preset? Provider must stop calling back. I don't think I need to. Okay. So let's do metadata receiver, add plugin ID, metadata receiver, plugin ID. And creator something we know. This can be the preset get vendor, right? And then we maybe want to add a category. So we'll do if preset dot get category is not empty, then then we can add a feature preset get category to raw UTF-8. Cool. I think this should work. Let's give it a try. Sweet, there we go. Looks like we've got all of our user presets there. Sweet. Looking good. Should we do Cloud Validator, or should we just try it in Bitwig with the UI? Let's do Cloud Validator. Yeah, Cloud Validator will tell us if we did anything else wrong. Nope, looks like not everything. Sweet. Cool. Let's try this in Bitwig. Right, so there we go. Yeah, so now if we open up the little folder icon here, we see all of our presets. And I'm curious to know what happens if we try to load one. Could not load plugin preset. Yeah, that's because we haven't implemented it yet. So makes sense. Oh, this is new. Or at least I hadn't noticed it before. We've got this MIDI controller. No, it's a device controller. Huh. I had not seen this before. That's cool. I gotta dig into that a little more. All right, Mike says, I didn't notice the presets weren't populating in Clap on Reaper. I must have been using VST3 when I was playing with them. Yeah, and I don't know actually what does Reaper show. Let's find out here. Reaper. Yeah, but it is cool that we're able to see our presets here, and yeah, we're able to get categories too. Amps. I guess that one doesn't have a category. Drive. No category. Pedals. Yeah, so obviously some of them don't have categories, but for the ones that do, it's nice that we're able to see them. All right, whatever. Okay, I've got to deal with these layers of things. Okay. So new track, clap, BYOD. Yeah, okay, so I guess there's no presets in the clap version. But what if instead we do the VST version? Okay, so they're using the program interface or whatever VST3 calls it, which is okay. But yeah, I mean, I guess I kind of talked about this at the beginning, but there's a few things that I like a bit better about Clap's way of doing things, even though I guess it's maybe a little more work and it's not as incompatible or not as compatible with some of Juice's way of doing things and so on. But that's okay. Cool. So now it looks like preset scanning is working right. So now we need to implement preset loading. And for this, I don't think it'll be too bad. For this, we can go over here. So this is the draft extensions for Clap. And the only thing that we need to implement is this from location thingy, this from location method. Yeah, I don't think that'll be too bad. Preset discovery provider defines the location and load key to be passed to this function. If I remember right, Bitwig isn't using the load key at the moment, so I may need to ignore that for now. But I don't think this should be too difficult. So let's see here. Reset. Sports. Oh, I had my search settings wrong. Okay, here we go. Preset. Preset load from location and implements preset load. Okay, so what we want to do here is another if. So if has clap juice extensions, and if actually I have these defined a little bit more neatly in here. Yeah, so some of this stuff is stuff that I just merged to the clap juice extensions the other day. But yeah, they're still a bit, let's say, rudimentary. So here yeah, here's the methods that we want to override. Yeah, and they haven't been merged in upstream yet. So if you're looking for some of this stuff in the upstream repositories, you're probably not going to find it. So return true for that. And for this one, I'll put the implementation somewhere else. Yeah, I'll just put it down here, I guess. So this is BYOD, preset load from location. Let's see, what's the right way to forward this? I think I'll just forward this into preset discovery. I think that's the way to go. So let's just do that. And then, yeah, I'll put this down at the bottom here. Cool. And so now we should be able to at least attempt to load the preset based on all these things here. So, oh, you know what? Well, we'll get there when we get there. So first, let's check the location kind. This is preset location file. Otherwise, we'll return false. So let's do this. What's wrong here? Oh, we need to, right. We want this to be a juice file. I'm going to step ahead of myself here. Cool. So that's a juice file. And so how about we do this? If preset file does not exist, then we'll figure out something else to do. Actually, you know what? Let's do this. So we are going to need a little bit more information here. So when we call this, we're going to want to call preset load from location with all of these arguments. Load key. And we're also going to want to call with the preset manager, so we can use the preset manager to actually load the preset. Getting close here. So if this doesn't exist, then how about we just have the preset manager load the default preset? I don't know if I love that, but whatever. We can maybe tweak it later. So now we can actually create a preset. Check this preset file. And again, we make sure that the preset is valid. Is valid. If it's not valid, we return false. And so now we just need to actually load the preset. So let's do this. Preset manager, load preset. Okay, so how are we doing this? It's been a minute since I looked at some of this code in BYOD, so I've got to refresh my memory here. So load preset state, that's not what we want to do. Load user presets, load preset safe. Why can't I just do load preset? Now I'm caught in a web of my own, unfortunate creations here. So we've got this kind of thing. I guess we're going to need a unique pointer, whatever we do. I'm also, yeah, you know what? Here's what I'm going to do. This won't be too bad. Unique, make unique. Got to use parentheses since it's a factory function. And let's do this. So we'll do, this is going to get a little gross here, so bear with me. Preset manager. Load preset safe. Yeah. This will be move preset and null pointer. So the idea here is that we try to load a preset, and if the preset load is successful, then if the preset load has an error, then we call this method to show it. Yeah, we call this method to show an error message. But you know what? We've already checked. We know that preset to load shouldn't be null pointer, and we know that it's valid. So I don't think we need to do that. I think we can just do preset manager load preset like that. Yeah, you know what? Here, I'll keep that around just in case we need to come back to it. But I really don't think we do. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Just do that. Let's give it a try. Oh no, what did I change now that is going to require a full rebuild? Must have changed something. Oh, I got rid of this to do. Okay. Yeah, that's something I really wish. I don't know why compilers do this. How come when you change your comments, it needs to recompile the file in the file that you change your comments in? I feel like the compiler should be able to recognize that a file change was just changing comments and then not make you recompile all that stuff. But I don't know, maybe that's not possible. Oh, I forgot to mark some things as overrides. That's okay, we can do that easily. Then I missed some return statements, also pretty easy. All right, well, that's going to take a minute. So if anyone's got questions or other random things they want to talk about, I'm happy to do that while I'm waiting for this to compile. Since, it might be a minute. I'm almost halfway. All right. Google says the line numbers move around for debugging symbols. Huh. So the line numbers moving around requires a full recompile. Interesting. I can maybe see it. Fair enough. Interesting. Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of around now when I start to wish I was still working in Jai because the compile times are so quick. That is arguably my favorite thing about Jai. Anyway, looks like this is about ready here. That could be nonsense. I wonder if a release build does it. I want to say that it does, but I also don't want to take the time to confirm it right now. Yeah, not the way I want to spend my time right this second here. Let's see. It's getting a little warm in here. I think I'm going to need to work out some kind of cooling system for the summer because our house doesn't have AC here. Yeah, these computers spinning all the time tends to heat things up a little bit. Okay, so preset crawl is the preset crawl test is working in Clap Validator. Let's try preset discovery. I think it's called preset discovery load. Give that a try here. Okay. We got some issue. What's our issue? New proc. Okay, proc name. Okay, this is one of the add-on modules. I built this without the add-on modules, so yeah, it's not going to work. That's fine. Okay, might hit that a couple more times here. That's fine. That's fine. That's still fine. Totally fine. All right. Yeah, so that's something I may want to think about is that some of these presets have the add-on modules. I probably want to check module availability before I tell Bitwig that a preset or whatever the host is, before I tell the host that a preset is available, I should check. Yeah, I should check some things. Anyway, that's fine. Yeah, so let's try this in Bitwig, see what happens. Very exciting. Drum roll. All right, so here's BYOD in its default state. I wonder why we've got this org ChowDSP thing now instead of the original plugin name. I wonder if that's a Bitwig bug. Hey, I think this might work. Okay, that didn't work. Okay, let's try some things here. So let's attach the debugger plugin host. Which plugin host? Why are there so many? Maybe the last one. All right, that loaded. And here we go. Okay. Now we have our crash case. Oh, interesting. So this is just coming from get state information. save state, save XML state, preset to XML. This is all on the main thread. What's wrong? Yeah, I know. Come on. Just give me a little more time here. All right. So preset XML. Here we go. State. So somewhere in there, we have like a lifetime issue, I guess. I don't know. This is strange. Yeah, I wonder if maybe I should do it the other way. Maybe there was some method to that madness. Yeah, here, let's try some things here. Curious why it only happens with that preset though. That's interesting. So instead of this, let's do this. So we'll do unique preset. So we can move this preset into a unique pointer of preset. That's probably fine. And this is going to complain that Clang Tidy doesn't like this. And I'm going to tell it to go away for now. Hopefully it's okay with that. I'm curious why the clap validator didn't catch that. I would have thought that it would have. Interesting. Let's do this for now. Great. But yeah, super cool that this is working at all. I'm very pleased with that. Let's try a different one. SVF, okay. Boston, it's spinning, it's spinning, it's spinning. Something happened. Cool. Seems like that worked. Nice. I have an idea why, but I don't really want to get into it right now. It's kind of a long story. Cool. Yeah. So some things are kind of slow, but that's just because this is a debug build. So yeah, preset discovery is working. A few things to clean up, a few things to, polish here and there. But yeah, I'm glad to see that clap features work. This is cool. That's kind of what I was hoping for when clap was released a little while ago, that we would get to a point where you could have these new and interesting features that wouldn't really have been possible, maybe a couple of years ago. But yeah, you can basically get to the point where a clap plugin has all of the same functionality as like a native device in your DAW. And that's super exciting to me. And yeah, hopefully, kind of what I'm hoping is that more hosts will start publishing or start proposing clap presets to kind of mimic the way that they do things with their own built-in devices, so that you can have some of the same interactions that you do with clap plugins as you do with the built-in devices in your DAW. Obviously, we're still probably a little ways away from that, but I think Reaper has clap support now, so it'd be super cool if maybe they had some ideas for how to make clap plugins a little bit more native-like in Reaper. Someone told me, I don't know how true or false this is, someone told me that FL Studio is working on clap support. That I think is going to be really cool. FL does a bunch of interesting stuff. So yeah, I would love to see kind of what they have up their sleeve as far as potential clap features or ways of using and implementing the existing clap features. Big reason I switched to Bitwig is with the device stuff is so much nicer. Yeah, I think here's why I switched to Bitwig. I've talked about this with a few people, but I don't think I've ever shown it directly. So like if I go to maybe the delay effects here, just like being able to do things like, oh, I can put a plugin in the feedback path of my delay, like save me so much time. Because what I used to do, I don't actually know if I can do this in Bitwig because I haven't tried because I haven't needed it to, is I would put a delay on here and then I would feedback the delay into itself using like a send thing. And it works, but it's like, kind of it's kind of a pain and it's kind of hard to save. Like if I have a setting that I really like, I can't really save it as like a device in Bitwig because it's kind of spread across this track here. Or if I want effects that are only in the feedback path, then I have to add a second effect. And then I have my, maybe I want a compressor in the feedback path. And so I send this to the delay, and then I send the delay to, wait, no, I did that wrong, didn't I? Delay. So, okay, dynamics is getting signal from delay, and then delay is getting signal from dynamics. There we go. George is saying, Jai compiler is fast, but doesn't optimize as much. So this is all very anecdotal. This is just what I've seen myself. For a debug build, the Jai code is significantly better optimized than the debug build in C++. For a release build, well, I should go back a little bit. So the Jai compiler has two backends. There's like a custom backend that they made for themselves, where basically the compiler spits out machine code directly. It also has an LLVM backend, where basically they give their version of the abstract syntax tree that LLVM expects. They give that to LLVM, and LLVM can compile that and do whatever optimizations it wants on it. So for a release build, if you're using the LLVM compiler, you'll get about the same performance, or you'll get pretty much the exact same optimizations that you would do if you're using Clang on C++ code or Rust code, or pretty much any other programming language that compiles with LLVM. Jai will get the exact same optimizations if you're using the LLVM backend. And it's still a much faster compile time. The custom backend is even faster compile time, not as much optimization in a release build. In a debug build, still pretty good optimization. But yeah, that's all very kind of just hand wavy. What I've noticed in my own experience, I haven't done any rigorous measurements or anything like that. But yeah, at the end of the day, if you're using the LLVM backend, the optimizations you're going to get should be exactly the same as what you would get in C++ or Rust or any other language that uses LLVM. Cool, but yeah, so anyway, back to what I was saying. Being able to have an effect that can, or being able to like put plugins in a delay feedback path without having to go through this annoying track routing, for me is like that alone kind of justified getting Bitwig for me. And this is something I've thought about doing this actually, maybe putting together a clap extension for this kind of plugin with the signal flow defined by another plugin kind of context. Haven't really worked it out yet. It would be a cool thing to do, but yeah, I haven't thought it all the way through. So it'll take some time if it ever does happen, or maybe someone else will have an idea for how to do it first, and that's even better. Then I don't have to do the work. Yeah, a little bit of laziness. It's okay, I guess. Cool. So I'm going to clean up a couple things here and then commit them. So yeah, this might be boring, but if you guys have questions or whatever, feel free to throw them in while I finish this up. So that helps with that. Let's see about making the clap ID a public definition. Clap ID. So yeah, so most of these are private. I don't think we want all of them to be public. Yeah, I don't think we want all of these to be public, but maybe, you know what? Let's do it. Let's make them public. Can't hurt, can it? I don't know. I'll ask Paul. He'll let me know if there's something that, if there's a reason why that's bad, Paul will know. Had a lot of fun with the BYOD presets the other day. The Boston and Mascus ones especially. Thanks. Yeah, I think the J Mascus one was the first preset I ever made for BYOD. I'm a big Dinosaur Jr. fan, so that was a fun one to work on. I'm a big Boston fan as well, but it wasn't at the top of my mind when I was starting to make presets, so that's why J Mascus was first. Also, I think for me, I don't know, probably other people might disagree, but I think the best Boston guitar solo is the solo on the song Hitch a Ride. That's the best one. But I'd be curious to hear counter arguments to that. My kneecap about 2 weeks ago before the Dino Junior show still went. Yeah, their shows are, I've never been, from what I hear, their shows are kind of insane with the volume and everything. I think it's like them and My Bloody Valentine are supposed to be like the most aggressively loud bands that are out there. Still love to go, but I definitely bring my earplugs and whatnot. And yeah, even that might not be enough, but well, I like their music, so what you gonna do? I haven't seen MBV, probably louder because they do like 20 minutes of noise. Yeah, those guys, I don't understand how they're not all deaf by now. I remember hearing a story how they used to like, I think it was like the main guy and the drummer used to like sit in a room for like an hour or two with like 120 dB noise playing, and they would just like sit there and like soak in it like it was like a sauna, like a noise sauna or something. Yeah, that would drive me nuts. I would not be able to handle that. Cool. So I think this clap ID thing is actually going to work, which is neat. I guess the what do you call it? IntelliSense hasn't caught up yet. No. Okay. Something's not happy. Public clap ID. Target compile definitions. Let's see what do we have here, because we should be able to see all the compile definitions here. Has clap juice extensions. Oh, you know what it is? We're only defining this for the clap target, not for the more general, case, right? Because has clap juice extensions is getting defined for the whole library. Well, where do we link the clap target to the actual plugin? Oh, I see. Okay, so we target link libraries target. So what if we define these compile definitions for the target, and then clap target will get them automatically? Let's try that. But yeah, it's going to be a long ass compile time. So strap in again. Might take a minute. Yeah, there we go. All right. I can sit and wait for it to do what it needs to do. But yeah, this is cool. I'm very excited about this feature. Like I said, there's still a few things that the Bitwig folks are implementing, so it might be a little bit before this actually becomes useful in the more general sense, but yeah, pretty exciting. All right, well, this is kind of wrapping up here, so maybe I should end the thing here and call that a day. Yeah, I think it'll probably work this time. But yeah, so thanks for tuning in, and yeah, I'll probably be back. Let me look at my calendar here. So next week I probably won't be back because I'll be at the little ADC thing that they're doing for the first half of the week. Probably the week after that. Yeah, that would be good. I would enjoy that. Yeah, all right. So probably the week after next. And we'll probably be getting close to the release of Chow Multi-Tool at that point. So maybe we could do something for that. Maybe I'll actually use the plugin instead of writing code for it, and yeah, go through some of the features there. Maybe that'd be fun. Or maybe I'll do some more work on BYOD, since I think that's the next kind of major thing that I'm going to be working on is some updates for BYOD. So yeah, that's probably where I'll go. But yeah, that'll be the week after next. Cool. Thanks everyone. Have a good day.